Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of The Expendable Show. I'm your host, The Expendable. So, first things first, if you like my show, like, subscribe, and ding the bell. We try to have some fun in here for those of you who tune in for the first time. We cover some stuff, but we just goof off most of the time. So today is a big day for my show, as it is our 100th episode. Shauna's trying to do something. It ain't working. Her plan completely failed. She had some graphics that was supposed to do something, and it was a major failure.
This thing sucks, man. I don't know where my headphones are. Hi, guys.
Show 100, exciting. So if you go back into the archives and go look at my first show, I didn't have my backdrop. It was just a gray wall. I had hair back then, and I don't think anybody watched my show except for maybe my dad. That was it. And now we've kind of built it up. We've got a little bit of a following, and some shows are hotter than others, but I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope to do another 100. I've met a lot of good, cool people along the way. I've had some people from Canada pop in, and people from everywhere, if I want to keep it real. But so it's been exciting. It's been a fun ride, and I enjoy interacting in the chats with everybody during the live, and any comments that people leave later. I always go back and look and see if anybody says anything. Usually when I go back, it's because some liberal wants to say something smart about my show, so I got to check them, because I can't let a liberal get like the last say in my comment section. So I got to get the W coming out the door. So we can't be having that. Shauna hasn't been on all 100 episodes. She's part-time. I said, you haven't been on all the episodes. You're like part-time.
Part-time, always. Yeah. Part-time.
Yeah, that means you ain't getting no benefits. All right. So now I haven't done this in a while, but I'm gonna throw it back up there because I want to sell more books. G-Bro, live from South Bend, Indiana. What's up, man? So there's my book, The Swiss Effect. If you haven't gone out and got it yet, please go get it. Everything that's happening in the world right now, what Trump is doing, it's my book basically tells you why he's doing that and what he's doing, and basically it's everything that's in the book is happening in real life, real time right now. So I don't know if I just got lucky and guessed right or what, but I put a lot of research into it, and it was a lot of fun to write and to talk about with people. So there it is. It's available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart, Story on the Square in McDonough, Georgia. And it's available in several countries now. I think somebody bought it in South Africa the other day. So it's floating around. We had New Zealand, Russia, India, China, Germany. It's banned in England. You can't get it in England. I offended the crown. But nobody likes the crown. So there's my book. Okay, so let's start talking about our subjects for the day. I've got quite a few. So first I want to throw it out there. Dan Bongino is now the assistant director of the FBI. Shauna, do you know who Dan Bongino is? I don't know how you don't know. You're on a podcast. He's like one of the top 3 podcasters in the world. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Dan Bongino fan. So not just because of his podcast, but I watched him on Fox for years. And then before that, so he was he's been in law enforcement for almost 20 years. He worked for the Secret Service for 12 years, protected Obama and Bush. So, this guy, he knows his stuff. He's got some super secret clearance. I'm a big Dan Bongino fan, so I'm happy to see him in there. Him and Cash Patel working together is going to be epic. I think he's going to build the reputation of the FBI back up, so I'm excited to see that, especially at a time where Americans as a whole were kind of losing faith in the FBI. So I think these are the right two guys to bring it back to prominence. So far they're pretty active. They're getting things done. So also I did just have my article for this media outlet in Pakistan. It's called the Media Line. I wrote an op-ed about their water crisis there that's affected by the USAID cuts and what to look forward to. Now, when I went through and was looking at the cuts from USAID, that money that was delegated to the water was not in there. So I don't think Elon cut it. I think that program got sent to the State Department with Marco Rubio. So I'm sure that after this 90-day freeze and everything's been gone through and looked at, I'd be certain that some of those funds are going to go to the places that actually need it. And I don't know. Pakistan's kind of a questionable country, so I don't know if they actually need it or not. But they do have the data that does show that they have a major water shortage. Is it our job to be the humanitarians of the world? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. We've spent I don't know how many decades being the world police and the world saviors, but now come to find out that it was all a big ruse so politicians could funnel our money back. Now there is a Ukrainian insider that released the list of all the politicians that got kickbacks from the Ukraine money. I don't know if that's true yet or not. It just came out, so I'm waiting to see if that's going to get verified or not. I kind of hope it is because I really, really, really don't like any of the people that are on that list. So I hope they go down. Adam Schiff is on there. Nobody likes him. Schumer, Pelosi, Elizabeth.
Biased.
Yeah, I am biased. And Republican Dan Crenshaw. I call him One-Eyed Willie because he's got a patch. I mean, he did it in the service of his country, but he's turned into a tyrant since then. And he's, he likes to embezzle money and all this stuff. And he likes to backstab his buddies on the Republican Party all the time. So I've got no use for Dan Crenshaw. If you get on Twitter, Cat Turd and Gunther Eagleman are constantly attacking Dan Crenshaw. It's been going on for like 2 years because that's how shitty of a politician he is. Nobody likes Dan Crenshaw. If you're a Republican, you already know Dan Crenshaw's a turd. So somebody's going to run against him and beat him. I think Gunther said he was going to try to run against him. That's how personal this conflict has gotten. It's to the point where Dan Crenshaw actually responds to those guys now. But he's on the list. It's almost like the money funneling Epstein Island list, kind of like you got the thieves of our taxpayer money list. Now we're waiting on the Epstein Island list. Now we got the JFK list. We got the Bobby Kennedy list. Like we got all this information that's about to come out. I'm excited. And I think people need to be held accountable. I think we've played this game too long. America deserves better. And I would just like to see things go back to like honest. We're not on. Our country's not honest anymore. I want to see honesty. That's why they should just make me under president, like under boss in the mafia. I should just be under president. That way I can help guide the way and keep everybody honest. So yeah, I have an article out on the Media Line. I posted on my Facebook page for those of you on my Facebook page. So you can read it. It's kind of a boring article, but I had a good time doing it. It gave me a chance to kind of look at Pakistan from a different angle and, kind of see things, not from what our media depicts them as. So, and the journalist that I worked with in Pakistan on that he's a pretty good guy. Guy's the nicest, most peaceful person ever. So Doge updates. I watch the Doge count every day. So we are up to 3.25% of the government has been audited. So 3%, a little over 3%. So we're at $65 billion now, and that accounts for $433 of tax per taxpayer. So we're up to $433. So, and that's only 3%. You know, that number is going to continue to go up as they find more things. Also, we have a tentative agreement between Trump and Zelensky on the war. Well, it's not really an agreement. It's kind of like Trump saying this is how it's going to be, and Zelensky's like, "Yes, Daddy, that's how it's going to be." That's kind of how it goes. So basically, Trump said, "Look, you owe us a lot of money, and that shit ain't free. So we need some of your natural resources like now." And Zelensky thought about it there for a while, and he's like, "No, I'm not going to do that." Well, now they've said, "Oh, we're probably going to do that." So we're going to get rich off of Ukraine. Actually, we're not going to get rich. We're just going to get our money back because people have been stealing it from us. So I like that deal. The natural resources is a big deal. China actually mines more natural resources than anybody in the world. So like by far, like a lot by far. So I think that's something that as America we need to get on top of because the minerals in the ground are highly important to our future. Obviously, if we're going to start to merge more towards electric stuff, we're going to need more lithium. And there are lithium mines in Ukraine. There's lithium mines everywhere, but, you know, we want what we can get our hands on. And then let's go to, so we got this tentative agreement. The liberals are like, we gotta give Ukraine money so they can keep their war up. Well, we're gonna end the war, okay? So we don't need to give nobody no money. And Europe keeps trying to stick their hands in it. We talked about that on Sunday. Nothing's really changed there. They're still trying to figure out how to keep the war going, but they don't really have any power anymore. Trump just kind of jumped in there and just took over. So in an interesting turn of events, so the Biden administration, or Joe Biden specifically, is now under investigation by the International Criminal Court for interference and in the Israel-Gaza deaths. So they're kind of pegging him involved with Benjamin Netanyahu in the deaths of a lot of people from Hamas and Palestinians. And that charge was brought to the table by the Democracy for the Arab World now. Obviously, we don't give a shit. I don't care what crimes Biden committed. You're not going to come on American soil and you're not going to touch our former presidents. I don't care. I'm not like a liberal where, you know, somebody shoots at my president and I get excited. Like that's Joe Biden is still a United States citizen. He's still a former United States president.
Leave him on over there. Nobody care about nothing. Nobody care about.
They're going to pry Joe Biden out of our cold, dead hands.
Well, then they better come prime because don't nobody care.
Right. And we don't respect the International Criminal Court anyway. That's just a bunch of communists over there trying to enforce communist laws. And they're all terrorist brokers over there. That's all they do, broker terrorism. So enough of that nonsense internationally. So let's talk about what Trump has done for our so far in his very short time as president. Trump has made some deals that is getting ready to migrate to the United States. We're going to talk about some of those things. So there's a company called Eli Lilly. So what they do is they're a drug making manufacturing plant, kind of like Pfizer, blah blah blah, Johnson and Johnson, the stuff that RFK is probably going to get rid of eventually anyway. But Trump made this deal, said, "Hey, you come back here, we'll give you a tax break." So they're like, "Yeah, let's get over there." So they're going to spend $27 billion to build 4 new manufacturing plants in the United States. They announced that at a press conference last Wednesday. So that's going to offset their import tariffs that they were going to be facing. So the new plants will be built over the next 5 years and are expected to create more than 3,000 jobs for skilled workers. So that's important. Like engineers and scientists, stuff that these college kids need. They need good paying jobs. So there you go. Also, it's going to create 10,000 construction jobs. So this is going to benefit skilled workers, going to benefit construction people. This is going to be a good deal all the way around. People are going to make money off of this. Also, in a surprise shock of turning of events, Chinese-based company Temu, which I have never purchased anything from Temu. Temu is now moving part of their operations to the United States. So there's a follow-up to this, Shauna. I'm about to blow your mind. The next one, Shein is going to be moving their operations to the United States. I know. Shauna,
That means I'm gonna get my stuff even faster. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Shauna doesn't actually work at work. She just goes through Shein's website all day. Yeah, I always catch her. What are you doing? I'm on Shein.
No.
Like, how about you go file those stacks of papers over there?
Listen, do my work, okay? And once my work is done, and you come in when I'm on my lunch break, and I happen to be on Shein, then that's my business.
Oh, okay.
Thank
All
you.
Right. Just make sure you clock out for lunch.
I do clock out for lunch. Thank you.
I'm just making sure. So also, I looked internationally too. So there's also a company, Nippon Steel, which is a big steel company. They're based out of Japan. So they've proposed a $14.1 billion kind of takeover of U.S. Steel. They're going to bring it back to the United States, and they're going to manufacture it here. Which they're basically merging with U.S. Steel. So there's going to be one big company, but they're going to start basing their operations here in the United States. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal for Trump. So those are four right there. I got more. And the liberals are like, he's not even doing nothing. He's stupid. He's a grifter. Bro, this dude's up. Next one, SoftBank. He secured a $100 billion deal in the United States that are going to create 100,000 jobs in artificial intelligence and technology. Like, come on, man. Like,
that's a good thing, because there was a lot of people that was laid off for these AI jobs because they couldn't pay these people. So that's good. These people have some jobs.
Yeah. This is skilled jobs. These are skilled jobs. So all these kids who get out of college and they can't find work because they're college degrees, now you're starting to see skilled jobs here. So the tech industry is turning into a big thing. Next, Volkswagen, Shauna's favorite car, which is the people's car, established during World War II by you know who.
Don't. We're not doing this. We've already had this conversation, and we're not doing this. Moving on. Because Volkswagen isn't just Volkswagen, okay? What do you see? Tell them again, Pooh. What do you think everybody drives around in Atlanta? Mercedes. Who owns Mercedes? Who owns Audi? It's not just Volkswagen. Thank you very much. So moving on.
I'm just saying there's a guy with a certain funny mustache that is responsible for Volkswagen from World War II, Germany. I'm not going to name any names. But so they're going to start expanding their production to the United States as they start to create more electric vehicles. It looks like Tennessee.
Does that mean that we're going to get certain cars that wasn't street legal here now?
Well, it's just Volkswagen.
That'd be great.
But they're going to build a plant in Tennessee, so that's good. Siemens. So that's a huge company. We actually buy stuff off of them at our company. So they're a German conglomerate, and they've announced a significant investment in its U.S. operations, focusing on renewable energy and smart infrastructure projects. So they can't sit there. All these liberals that are like, Trump is going to destroy the Green Deal. Look, this is all about renewable energy. And he's making smart investments. He's not just taking, let's just take a $2 trillion and make a bill and we'll divvy it out whenever we feel like it, which we'll find out later that it's never really been divvied out. But here, Trump, you're seeing he's going, hey, we don't need Congress to make things green. We'll just get these companies to invest in the United States and we'll bring the technology here and the private sector can turn it green, which is smarter than having the government do it because we all are finding out how much wasteful spending is happening in the government. So Siemens is another one. They're going to do infrastructure. Next, Nestle, the chocolate. So they're from Switzerland. They're food and beverage companies.
Real 90s kids know.
Right.
Are they bringing Godiva back? No, Mom. Because Godiva stripped all their stores, and I could really go for some chocolate covered strawberries again. Okay, it was a very sad Valentine's Day.
Well, I mean, I don't know. They may. You could probably like get on their website and ask the question. But they're going to expand their U.S. operations, going to create thousands of jobs. TSMC is from Taiwan. They do semiconductors, which is a big market right now. They've committed to an investment in the United States with plans to build new manufacturing facility in Arizona. So that's a big one. The semiconductor is competitive. Actually, Taiwan was our huge competitor, but it looks like Trump is making a deal with Taiwan. So Samsung, South Korea tech company, has announced significant investments in their U.S. operations. They're going to expand, and they're going into the semiconductors. Panasonic, Japanese electronics company, is expanding its electronics vehicle battery production in the United States. You see the pattern here. It's all tech and green. So Trump's doing it the right way. I don't understand why anybody could complain about this. He's bringing, just off of the SoftBanks, 100,000 jobs.
Because you got people screaming, "Oh my God, they're giving tax cuts to the billionaires and taking away funding that matter."
That's how you get companies to come to the United States. You cut them a tax deal. They're so ignorant and stupid. You cut companies a tax break. They come to your country, and because they want the better tax break than where they're at now. It's very simple business. If your company comes to the United States because they want a tax break, guess what you did? You created jobs for Americans. So Americans can make money and feed their families. This is really simple. And so many people just miss the complete point. Like, we need to tax the billionaires. Yeah, go ahead. So that way they'll go, hey, China, what's you guys' tax rate over there? Yeah, I'm going to pack up. I'm heading to China. That's how corporations work. It's not about a moral compass. It's about how do you make the corporation content with what they have while still servicing the people of America. That's how it works. You can't cut the throat of the billionaires because they're going to just pack up and leave like they do every single time a Democrat gets in office. Every time.
Then they'll go back to who knows and doing child labor again. Hello, like, we're saving the children here, people. God,
that's a good point. That's a good point, Shauna, because not everybody has that.
Yeah, like, realistically speaking, there's a lot of companies that are doing these, like, having manufacturing companies and using child labor legitimately. So you have to think about that. Like, this helps. Like, this kind of stops that. And these are big, major companies too. Right. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, child labor is a big problem, and that is going to deflect child labor. So I do like that. So President Trump, he took office in January. Also, we have several Canadian companies have announced plans to invest in the United States, according to a national survey that they did. Nearly half of Canadian firms are planning to move operations or investments to the United States to avoid the tariffs. What did Trump say he was going to do? Use the tariffs as a negotiation tool? So Canada wants to play hardball. Guess what? Half of your companies are going to move to the United States to avoid the tariffs, and it's going to crush your economy because of your communist, socialist, Marxist dictator, Justin Trudeau, wants to try to stand up to the big man. Guess what? Game over. You lost. Boom. Trump's smarter than you, and you know it. Sean, are you high? Why are you frozen?
I'm just thinking. I was like, I don't know. I think I was just like wondering what was going through his mind. Or you just like, you know what? I'm sticking it to the man. Like, I don't care.
I'll tell you exactly.
It was just weird.
I'll tell you exactly what he was thinking. So Justin Trudeau, he has this like false sense of security that if he does something, Europe's going to have his back or China will have his back. Well, what he forgets is Canada does not have a big enough GDP or a big enough market for any of these countries to stick their neck out for him. So they let him sink. And that is the reality of Canada's situation. Do I want to see Canada go down in a ball of flame? Absolutely not. But your prime minister is going to destroy your country. He's on his way to doing it. He's got what, a 22% like success rate. Like that's his approval rating, 22%. This dude should be impeached right now. If Trump had a 22% approval rate, they'd have him in front of Congress right now impeaching him. So I don't know what you're waiting on, Canada. You guys got the majority. You can oust him whenever you want. Next, so I want to talk about the natural resources because it's becoming a bigger and bigger thing. Trump, obviously, he made a deal with South Africa for natural resources. He's got the Republic of Congo natural resource deal. He's got this deal with Ukraine for natural resources. So what's the deal? Why is everybody going after natural resources? Well, if you read my book, The Swiss Effect, I'll tell you exactly why. However, to summarize, let's talk about it now. What, Sean? That's my commercial voice. So I like go right into like commercial character.
It's great PR. It's great PR. I have nothing to say. Nothing to say.
So the United States secured natural resources from a lot of other countries, and we should be because there's a push. The United States has been negotiating with the Ukraine to access minerals, including lithium, titanium, and uranium. What do those things do? They create nuclear warheads. So additionally, the United States relies on various countries for mineral commodities. China is the largest source. We do purchase minerals off of China, followed by Canada, Mexico, Russia, and South Africa. So we got to get a bigger hunk of that pie. That's basically what Trump's trying to do, get a bigger hunk of the pie. So that's a thing. And there's a more deeper story involved in it. But I'll save that for those of you who want to read my book, The Swiss Effect. It'll tell you all the answers to all your questions. So the last thing we're going to talk about. So let's talk about the House budget bill that got passed. So it still has to go through the Senate, but it passed in the House because all I've been hearing since it came out is, oh, he cut Medicare, he cut Medicaid, oh, he's going into boo hoo hoo. For one, just because it was on a meme, it doesn't mean that's true. Memes aren't true most of the time. Most of the time, they're there to manipulate you. Most of the time, they're there to try to get you to think a certain way, or they're just supposed to be comedy. So let's talk about what's really in there. So there's 7 key takeaways that I got from reading it, and there's a lot of pages, so I get it. A lot of Americans are not going to read that. So I'm just going to tell you what some of the main points that I found are. There are Medicaid cuts. Yes, that's a fact. However, the liberal media has taken the word Medicaid cuts and has turned it into what they want it to mean. They're saying, oh, everybody's going to lose their benefits. Not true. So they're looking at about $800 billion in cuts to Medicaid. What they've done is they've gone in and they've eliminated the fraudulent accounts. They've eliminated the waste in Medicaid. They've gone through and anything dishonest, they've cut it out. So the amount of people that are on Medicaid is not going to change. Yes, is the plan to create a strong enough workforce to where we can get people out of that criteria of qualifying for Medicaid? Absolutely. That's what the plan is. So yes, does Trump want 0 people on Medicaid? Yes, he does. But if he has 0 people on Medicaid, that means people are working and they're making a good wage and they can afford private insurance. Now, is that reality? No, you still have to have a Medicaid program. So these things are it's a little give and take, but Trump's not eliminating Medicaid. He's not kicking people off of Medicaid. He's just cutting the trash out, just like what he promised. It's exactly everybody's Project 2025 is real. What are we gonna do? Well, if you're that scared of Project 2025, for one, you should just move to Canada because Justin Trudeau is just as scared of Project 2025.
But you know what's crazy to me is that all of these people that speak on Project 2025 didn't even read it.
Yeah, they have no idea.
They didn't even read it. So you've just taken the few bulletin points. Not that I'm supporting it, but I'm saying like the ones who are like, oh, Project 2025. Did you read any of it, or did you just read what was posted on social media and you've just been running with it?
And it's not so. Project 2025 isn't even like anything what Trump's doing. Yes, there are elements of it that are similar to what Trump's doing, but he's not doing it the complete like radical way. The liberal media is what is creating this radicalization of Trump's policies, when in reality, all he's doing is slimming the government, something that should have been done 50 years ago, but it didn't get done. Well, now he's doing it. And at the end of this, when all of these cuts get done, the American people are going to benefit from it. We're going to see probably lower taxes. The spending is going to go down. I could see the national debt either significantly slow down, or it could potentially start going backwards, which is, I think every American would like to see happen. $36 trillion is a lot of money. And it's a big hole. I don't know if we can dig ourselves out of it. It's going to take the right president and probably the right president for the next 3 presidents to dig us out of that hole.
Yeah. The thing is too, is like you have to get creative. Like this isn't just a simple like, oh, we've just spent too much money. Right. We just need to not spend so much money. You know what I'm saying? It's you're finding a lot of corruption. You're finding a lot of covering up. So you have to get creative in doing all of this, especially when the media is painting you to be such a villain. So right. I think they're not giving Trump enough creativity. Like they're not giving him enough props for his creativity. Like, okay, so now we've ended a war and we're going to get something out of it because, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of money and weapons were sent to Ukraine that we'll never get back. So now you have to come up with a plan to suffice for that being a problem. So what did he do? Okay, cool. You're going to stop this war for one. We're not funding it anymore. And you're going to let us use your resources to pay us back the money that you misled. Like you've been doing God knows what with whatever. So like nobody's giving a man credit for that. He's being creative.
Well, just to add
problem.
Yeah, and to add to what you just said with the creativity, has the same old been working for us? We needed some creativity to happen. We needed somebody to come in and do something different. And Trump did. He came in and he said, hey, the last 5 presidents didn't get it done. So let's try it.
We've had politicians the last 5 presidents. Right. Trump isn't a politician. He's a businessman and he knows business. He knows how to create good business. And at the end of the day, America's been ran like that anyways. So why are we upset at him for doing what he knows best, running a business?
Right. To me, it's not rocket science. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept. I know there's a lot of people out there that struggle with this. But at the end of the day, orange man bad, but orange man do good. So, like it, don't like it. I don't care. I just want this country to start operating efficiently and functioning and be able to pass a fucking audit once in a while. So, next, tax cuts. Oh, Donald Trump's going to cut all the rich people's taxes. Oh, he's only for the billionaires. Well, if you listen, like that's all they hear. Tax cuts to billionaires. They don't listen to anything after that. That's all they hear. Tax cuts, billionaires. No. If you listen to how it works, look, I watched this guy on YouTube. I forget what his name is, but he was running around New York City and he was interviewing people and saying, "Hey, so the proposed tax cut for the liberals is he was basically describing Trump's tax cut." And everybody was like, "Wow, that sounds like a fantastic idea." And then he was blowing them out and he was going, "Oh yeah, but this is Trump's current tax plan." And they couldn't believe it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, that's a brilliant tax plan." But they were mad because they got tricked. Because that's the difference. If this is the liberal tax plan, that it would be the greatest tax plan ever. But it's got Donald Trump's name attached to it, so they're automatically going to shoot it down. To me, I totally understand Trump's tax plan. It makes tons of sense. It's better than any tax plan we've ever had, and it'll be beneficial. Next, well, anyway, the bill includes $4.5 trillion in tax cuts for the rich and famous for the next decade. So you take that in 10 years, so you're looking at $450 billion a year is what the tax cuts will be. Now, the defense and border security. So that bill is going to allocate $300 billion for national defense and border security. There you go. National defense and border security is paid for now. Boom. Don't have to worry about it no more. Well, everything still has to pass the House, but I think we're in good shape. So the debt ceiling, the bill raises the debt ceiling by $4 trillion over 2 years. So that's $2 trillion a year. I think that I don't like that number. I don't want to see that number. I don't want to see the debt ceiling have to get raised. The debt ceiling should either stay the same or go lower. But I'm going to dig a little deeper into that and find out why he's thinking it's going to go up $2 trillion. So spending cuts. The bill seeks $2 trillion in across-the-board cuts to federal spending over 10 years. So there you're looking at $200 billion in cuts to basically to the federal budget. And the next one, economic growth projects. The bill relies on economic projections that suggest the tax cuts will spur economic growth, which will increase tax revenues. So it's all about growth. He's trying to grow the economy. However, these projections have been questioned by outside experts like Democrats who call themselves outside experts. Although you're not really a successful business person as a Democrat if you just steal the money from taxpayers. So if you got $120 billion in the bank.
And then get caught.
Right. That's how Nancy Pelosi is. She's been stealing all this money and doing all this insider trading, and then she wants to tell everybody she's a good business person. Like, you're just a good thief. That's it. So the deficit impacts. Despite the spending cuts, the bill could still increase the federal deficit due to the high cost of extended tax cuts. But there is a balance that will happen at some point. So like I said, this is more like a 10-year plan. So, you got to let the system play out. And, if everybody follows Trump's plan, this government's going to thin out. We're not going to need as much money, or another thing could happen. We could generate more revenue than what we're spending, which is, I think, what Trump is trying to do. So, 100 episodes in the books. What are we going to do? I need a cake. Sean, I need a cake tomorrow for 100 episodes. Where's your fireworks at? Right. So if we have a cake tomorrow, then I will do the sprinkler every time I come in the office.
No cake.
What are you talking about?
No cake. We don't need a cake.
You're not.
If we was gonna do, okay.
You don't like my sprinkler? Look, I'm telling you, it's a hit at weddings. I did it at Johnny's Hideaway too.
I'm glad those people could experience that.
It was epic. But that is pretty much going to be it for us for the week. There's not really a whole lot going on in the world this week. In this business, when you do the news, sometimes it's a hit and sometimes it's a miss. And this week was kind of quiet. Just have the spending bill. That's pretty much it. No wars. Nobody really got bombed all that much. I mean, there was some stuff that happened, but it's not that. I don't want to say it's not that important because anytime something gets bombed, that's important. But everybody be safe out there. Know where your people are at. There's crazy.
Bring your oil before y'all get on y'all flights, since they just seem to want to crash now all of a sudden.
I'm bringing my own parachute.
You should, just to be on the safe side. You never know. You never know.
I'm not even getting on an airplane. That's I'm gonna wait till till airplanes stop falling and rolling and whatever.
I think I'm just gonna do some road trips this year. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna drive. I'm not.
Yeah, I think driving's gonna be popular this year.
Definitely. So okay, Trump, get the gas down so we can go drive more. Thanks.
Oh, did you see what gas is in Locust Grove? It dropped like 40 cents in the last 3 days.
Oh, jealous.
Yeah. So eat that, liberals. You sell your souls for lower gas prices. You're damn right.
Absolutely. Because $5 for gas is ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah,
no.
It's $2.61 in Locust Grove.
I think I paid like $2.72. That was like the lowest for me over here.
Yeah, it was $3.99 in on Browns Mill Road.
Yeah, no, it was like $3.62 over there in Midtown. So
yeah,
don't get gas in the city. It's expensive.
Rich people in Midtown are always getting breaks. Why is Trump always catering to the rich people all the time? Give them gas breaks. But that's our show.
Come on.
Everybody be safe. I'll see you guys on Sunday.
I'm sorry.
Be good, Shauna's kids.
Sure.